What's up, YouTube? This is Ultra Right, and today we're going to go over the Frost Cameo. Now, the Frost Cameo functions kind of like the Sub-Zero Cameo for like combos, right? They both freeze. The difference is that Frost's freeze is a low, and it reaches full screen, right? So, you can use it as like a counter zoning tool. Like if you know they're going to throw the fireball, you trade, right? And then you can get up here, and you can get you a combo. So that's one good thing about this Frost Cameo. With Sub-Zero, your counter zoning tool is the armor. With Frost, you can actually use your freeze as a counter zoning tool. Combos work pretty much the same, right? I gotta have them not blocking. I do the same combos I do with the Sub-Zero Cameo. The only difference is with the Frost Cameo, you actually can't use jump 2-1-2. You have to use jump 1-3-4. So if you notice, if I use 2-1-2, you're not going to hit the lantern. So that's just one thing between the two. You can use 1-3-4 with both of them, so it's consistent. But just know that if you like using with Sub-Zero, if you like using 2-1-2, if you are playing Lime, then you can't do that with the Frost Cameo. So that is the main uh, freeze stuff, right? It's a low. It can trade with fireballs. Now it's super punishable on block, right? It is minus 28 on block, so if you do this up close or anywhere, you are going to get punished hard. So you just can't kind of throw it out there willy-nilly, right? So the next move is she has this freeze ball, right? It's a mid, and you know, if it goes over her, it's gonna come back, and it's always going to hit her, right? It's always gonna hit her, and this is just something you just put out there, and your opponent has to deal with, right? They have to deal with this. You can follow it in, and just keep your pressure, because you are plus. If they block this, that was plus 115. So just know that you are super plus if you block this. Up close, you are plus 109. So you're in the plus 100s, right? So you can just throw this out there. You can also, come in, throw them into it, and get you a combo that way. No. There we go. And get you a combo that way, right? So this is just a good tool to just throw out there, especially like when they're in the corner, right? If you can get them in the corner. You can kind of just throw this out there, right? You can zone, get your lantern set up, and you can just kind of use this to like annoy him, right? And follow it in, and then throw him into it, and then you get you a combo. So this is a really good tool to use, um, and I'm sure you can find some fantastic setups depending on the character, right? So now we have her standing, or just her R1, right? Now there's two versions of this, but they're both plus. So if you just tap R1, she's gonna do this little um, mid ground spike thing. And I mean, it goes relatively far, right? Like, it goes relatively far. It doesn't really hurt to just throw this out there sometimes. But if you hold it, she does this little stabby stab, right? It creates space. It's -1, but let's be realistic. -1 from right there is more like neutral, right? So this can give you some full screen. Let's say if you're playing like a zoner and you really want to be full screen, right? You can throw this out there and you get your full screen. The main thing you need to know is that that is a high though. So they can duck over it. And they can also interrupted. I don't want you ducking. I want you standing. Okay, here we go. They can interrupt this off of pretty much any string. Hold on. Right. So you can't really just throw this out there to create space because they can't interrupt it. But if they don't interrupt it, right? Let's say they're not reading the interrupt. You throw this out there, then you get you some space, and you can go back to your zoning game. Do this to set up your ball, right? Maybe you go out there to create space. They try to zone you, and then you throw one of these out and counter zone them. Now, with the regular one, or with the ground spike, right? They can't always interrupt this, right? Some strings they can. But off of most strings, they can't interrupt it, right? So if you don't want them to be able to interrupt it, throw out the ground spike version, and sometimes it'll trade, but for the most part, they can't really interrupt it. You just need to know which strings they can interrupt it off of and which strings they can't, right? And that is pretty much it for this cameo. This is going to be a pretty quick video. Like I said, if you want to, don't want them to interrupt it, you throw out the ground spike. If you want to create space and you don't think that you're going to try to interrupt it, just throw out the full version. You can throw this out, and then you can walk behind it, right? Just having something on the screen like this is enough to, let you be at the advantage, right? You follow it in, and like that. If you follow it in and they block it, right? You can keep your pressure going, and there's just a bunch of different stuff that you can do. And that is it for the Frost cameo. I appreciate y'all watching. I appreciate the support, and y'all have a fantastic day.